What it do? Shout out to the crew. Hey, it's your favorite crew excellence member, Justin Strickland, the host with the mostest. I'm so excited that you all could join us today. Remember, the ladder's about leadership. What I'm going to be doing from here on out, if you just see me, that means it's time to learn, okay? Get your pen, your notepad, excuse me. Hey, if you like the phone, get your phone out. Well, however you take notes, because I'm going to drop some gems for y'all today. So make sure you stick to the end so you catch it all, okay? Today, we're going to learn about micromanagement, a tried and true leadership method, the pros and cons of it, and if it's actually wrong or should we be doing it. People really have a high distaste for micromanagement. It's so interesting because micromanagement in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there is a way to do it and not to do it that can make it beneficial for a company. Let's talk first. What is micromanagement? Micromanagement is when you control every part, however small, of an enterprise or activity. So for most people, that looks like a boss always going back over their shoulders and checking their work, are always asking them what they're doing, where are you at. For my remote workers, that's your boss saying, hey, you haven't typed on your keyboard in 3 minutes. Are you alive? Those are some of the bad things that happen with micromanagement. And those are some of the images and thoughts we have when we think of micromanagement. But when you hear the definition, it's not necessarily a bad thing for a leader to control every part of an enterprise. If you are charged with leadership, you are judged by the results of something, you would want to be intimately involved in the process. The issue comes with how we go about micromanagement. So let's talk about the pros. So for a leader, why do leaders micromanage in the first place, right? If everybody has bad feelings, they really don't like micromanagement, then why do leaders do it? Why does this happen so often? Why have all of us worked under a micromanager? We all as soon as I said micromanagement, you thought of the boss who got on your nerves, right? That happens for everybody. So why do people micromanagement? Well, one of the reason leaders micromanage is that they know the work is done. For a lot of leaders, I think micromanagement really happens for a lot of middle managers. And the reason I say that is middle managers are almost judged exclusively by the results of their team, right? Middle managers don't often have work to do when it comes to the processing, but they have a lot of work to do when it comes to managing the people. And so they micromanage to make sure the process goes well because they're judged by the finished product. So people micromanage first because they want to know the work is done. Another pro of micromanaging is sometimes managers need to spend time with staff on tasks. And so when people are micromanaging, they're coming by your desk and they're checking on your work and they're asking you and they're being involved in everything you're doing, they're spending time with you, which is a plus for a leader. The more time you spend with the people you're leading, the better ideally that you will be at leading them. And then also leaders will keep intimate knowledge of daily activity. How many of us have worked for a boss who you be like, they have no idea what I do? They couldn't do my job. They have no clue what it is I'm doing, what I'm asked to do, what I deal with. Well, sometimes when leaders micromanage, they end up being intimately involved in the day-to-day activity. And so they keep knowledge of what everybody's job is and what everybody is doing. Those are some things that I think any leader would want is to know what their people are doing, to know that tasks are being finished, and to spend time with the people that work underneath them. The cons, though, for micromanaging is where we get a lot of the low company morale and bad company culture, and we get employees leaving jobs and saying, you will be surprised how many jobs have reviews, and it's like, I left because of blank. And it's one person that made someone leave a company, and it's usually a micromanager, right? Or a type of manager that isn't good at their job. And so some of the cons for micromanaging is employees feel untrusted. If you hire me to do a job, but you keep checking every single day that I'm doing the job, employees will feel that you don't trust them to do the job. That may be true or not, but that is what happens when someone is being micromanaged. Another thing is leaders don't have time to do other things. And so when you're micromanaging, you don't have time to do the other thing that your job requires, which is to build company culture, to plan for the future, to cast vision, to meet, maybe do meetings with one-on-one with employees or potential company partners, right? There are so many other things that managers could be doing that they can do, that's on their plate to do, that when they spend time micromanaging, they cannot do. And so as a leader, it's about opportunity cost. There's only so much time in a day. And if you spend so much of it micromanaging others, you don't have time to do the other things that you need to do, that you want to do, that you like to do. Micromanaging can cut into you doing the things that you like to do as a leader. And then the last thing that happens is a leader can undermine employee growth. And so many times leaders and managers are so scared of their employees failing because it's going to look bad on them that they don't allow them to grow. And what I mean by that is most of us understand that it is through trying and failing that we actually learn how to be successful. But if someone won't let you fail, then you can never truly learn how to be successful. And so when someone's micromanaging you every step of the way, then you don't necessarily learn the steps. And if they do it long enough, you don't even care about the steps because you know they're going to come in and do it, right? If someone keep coming and checking your work, check your work, what do? You stop trying because you like, they're going to come in and check it. They know the answer. They act like they know the answer. And they're going to do whatever they want to do. So let me look like I'm doing something. And when they come around, they'll do whatever they're going to do. So you stunt your employees' growth when you micromanage them because you don't allow them space to breathe, to fail, and ultimately to find success. And what happens also is when employees are being micromanaged by their direct supervisor, right? They don't see upward mobility as promising in a company because if that's what it takes to be at that level, if that's what I'm asked to do or what I'm supposed to do, I don't want to do that. And so you can lose out on employees that can impact your company culture for the better just because the person above them has micromanaged them and they don't feel like that's something they would like to do. Now, I'm here to say, I don't think micromanagement is terrible. And I say that as someone who does not like to be micromanaged, okay? I don't think it's terrible, but I do think there is a right way to do it. And so if you stuck around, this is what I'm about to drop. How do you micromanage well? And so how do you, as a leader, do you stay involved in the day-to-day activities? Do you stay aware of your employees' likes, dislikes, their rhythms of life? How do you stay aware of what the company morale is, right? Without coming across as not trusting your employee or undermining their growth or missing time to do what you were actually hired to do, right? Well, I got the answer. It's going to be 3 things. So the first thing is time your help. One thing that you can do to make your employees understand that you're not micromanaging them is to help them at the same time every time. You can have a standing meeting. Hey, in the mornings, we meet 9:30 in the morning, 30 minutes before we start, whatever. It could be weekly, right? If you work that time of job. Every Friday, I meet with my employees. I go over their weeks, the marks they hit, where I think they can do better, where I thought they did well, and I can check on them and see if they need help. That kind of timing of your help allows an employee to grow, to fail, and the employee knows there's going to be a time when you're checking on their work, which it helps you know that work is getting done, right? If in your meeting they say it hasn't gotten done, then you can even step in. Hey, I need this to get done. I'm going to come in and help you on this project. Or, hey, I trust you to get this done. I know you had some stuff this week, but I need this done by this day. And this is where you can step in as like getting the product done, right? Making sure it's done. And if you need something to make that happen, I need you to come to me. Okay, that kind of language allows open doors for your employees to get help they need, right? But it also allows you space that if they don't need help, that you can trust them with the work. Because the more employees you have that you can trust, the better you can be at your job at leading, okay? The second thing is clarify why you're helping. So if you're stepping in on a project, double checking an employee, make sure you tell them why. So you can say, hey, the reason I'm double checking these numbers is I've seen it before where we made a mistake as a company and it cost us a lot of money. So it's not you, it's me. I got to make sure we're perfect here. And so 2 eyes never helps. Who's going to be mad at that, right? Checking because you want to save the company money because that's your job. Right? Nobody went, man, bro, this dude. No, they're like, okay, that makes sense. Here's what I got. Let me know if I made any mistakes, right? So that's a whole different conversation you're having than you going in on their project and changing it. And they're like, hey, what happened to my work? Right? That's a whole different thing. And so Clarifying why you're helping. Hey, I'm going with you on this meeting because I want to meet this client too. I haven't met them. I've heard a lot about them. I want to come be your backup and be your support. That language will tell your employee that you trust them, but you still have a job to do, which deep down they know, right? They know you have a job to do, but sometimes they don't know what your job is. So if you clarify why you're helping, they can learn and understand what your job is and how you're doing it in regards to their work. Especially like a deadline is a great example. Hey, I needed you to meet this deadline on February 10th or whatever, and you didn't meet it. So I'm going to go ahead and take this from you. You keep working on the next project. I'm going to finish it up for you, and I'll make sure it gets done. Right? They might not be happy with that, but if they didn't want you to do that, they should have met the deadline, right? But you're communicating with them why you're stepping in and what you want them to do moving forward with this project, right? Now, I wouldn't do that a lot because then they just never meet deadlines because you're going to work. But you gotta find a rhythm and clarify why you're helping. And the last thing is align the rhythm of your help with who you're helping. And so everybody doesn't need the same amount of help. And this is where your perspective, your leadership perspective really comes into play, right? Voice leaders, gurus, they want you to help them a lot, right? Gurus want a lot of help because they want a lot of information. So they're constantly going to be asking questions because they want to know all the details as they're working, before they're done working, after they're done working. They want as much information as possible. And so a guru won't feel micromanage as quickly as some of the other perspectives. They will feel like you're being a good boss because you're giving them as much details as you have, right? Don't withhold information from gurus. They want to know all these things. They want the numbers. They want to know the deadline because that helps them lead in the way that they need to lead, right? Voice leaders want a lot of contact with people because voice leaders don't like making singular decisions. And so the more they can bounce decisions off of you, day-to-day decisions, big decisions, small decisions, medium decisions, the more comfortable they are making them. Even if a lot of times they ask you a question, hey, what you think about this? And all you got to do is say, hey, I like that, or I would go this way. They just want to hear someone else go through this decision making with them because they don't like making decisions in silos, right? They like making group decisions. And so if they can involve you in that decision making, they're not going to feel like you're micromanaging them. They're going to feel like you're helping them make these really tough decisions, okay? And so so you might meet with them more often. You might talk to them more often. They might be a weekly meeting or a daily meeting, right? If you have those kind of leaders. Now, the leaders you don't want to micromanage because they'll cry and quit, heroes and royalty. Don't micromanage them. And the reason is heroes want to do stuff. So the more meetings you do with heroes, the less they can go do stuff. Okay. You have to meet with them, but make sure every meeting is super meaningful and not very frequent. Okay. If you hire them to do something, you have to let them do it. Give them the tool, give them the resources so they only have to come to you if the house is on fire. That's what heroes want. And royalty, they need room to create culture. They need room to create rhythm and principles and things for their own, whatever they're in charge of. The more you micromanage, the more they're going to start checking out because they don't feel like they have control. They don't feel like they have the ability to cast a vision. And so the more you micromanage them, they're going to start checking out because they're going to be like, hey, bro, if you don't believe in what I'm doing, then you can just do it. Like royalty kind of got that kind of mindset when it comes to working, right? And so you want to, like I said, you want to meet with them infrequently, but every meeting has to be important and valuable, right? And to a royalty leader, instead of a meeting, it might be an email. Hey, I saw this. Have you done this? Have you seen this? And allow them to kind of communicate, oh, this is what we got going on. I got so-and-so working on it. This is where I'm at with it. They'll respect that. You meeting with them every day. Hey, what you doing? They gonna check out on you. I'm telling you. I know from experience. I'm a personal checker outer, okay? They will check out on you if you micromanage them, okay? And so knowing the perspective of the leaders you're working with will help you build that rhythm for when you should check on your employees or your teammates, okay? Because all of that is important when we get into the rhythm of managing people, which is not easy. For all the people who know that they will be better managers than the manager they have, I tell you, it's way easier said than done. Managing adult humans is very hard. They don't do whatever you tell them to do. They do what they want to do, when they want to do it, how they want to do it. And you got to somehow take credit or take blame for what they did. It's not easy. It is possible. If you do it well, you can see exponentially better results than you could see on your own, which is why managing people is a highly sought after skill, because people that can get more out of people just because of the type of leader they are, people pay for that. That's highly valuable. And so I'm going to run through the 3 things you can do as a leader that are micromanaging-esque, but don't necessarily turn your employees off to you as a leader or a manager, okay? Number 1, time your help. Make sure it's on the calendar. Make sure it's consistent. Number 2, clarify why you're helping. Be very intentional with your language on what you're doing and why you're stepping in at this space for this person. And the third thing is keep a rhythm with different employees. You might meet with someone every day when they first start, but as you trust them more, as they learn more, you start pulling back and allowing them space to grow. That's something that most companies do, but they don't do it on purpose. They kind of do it accidentally. That can be your intentional leadership strategy. Is I'm going to meet with this person every day for 2 weeks, every day for a month, every week for 6 months. And then once I know they got it, we only meet once a month. We only meet every 2 weeks, right? And I'm communicating that rhythm to them. And I'm saying, hey, if you want to keep meeting every week, we can, right? So I'm aligning my meetings, my rhythm of meetings with the people I'm meeting with based on their preference, their leadership perspectives, and what they need for that given project, okay? So I hope you learned a lot this episode. Micromanaging gets a bad rap, right? But as you can tell from today, it's not all bad if you do it right. And so I'm hopeful that you all will have the opportunity to manage people, and this will be useful for you and doing it with excellence. Hey, don't forget to like, drop a comment, subscribe, do all the things that help other people need this information. And so if you do that, that tells YouTube, hey, people actually like this video, and they'll show it to other people. And I would be forever grateful, okay? And so that's all I got today. I hope you learned something. It's your favorite Crew Excellence member. I've been hanging out with your auntie and your mama, and they told me. So I'm sorry if it's the first time you hearing it, but they told me. They didn't say I couldn't say it on the pod. So I had to keep it real with you, okay? And I'm out, man. I can't wait to see y'all next week. I'm so honored that you spent some time with me today. Peace.